Well, welcome to the part 2 of the drama of 629. If you read the title, the answer is maybe, okay, because I still need to figure out some stuff. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, you just need to go to my channel and check my latest video, which is this one, Kingdom 629 Leadership Meltdown in Final Zone. So pretty much a mini civil war started between two parts of 629. And as you can see, I got a lot of comments saying that I was wrong, or maybe not as much as I was wrong, but as I was biased towards the people right now currently in AFK. So it was like, okay, hold on. Like, I think it's fair. I think it's fair that I actually asked to people from R4, from TK, because I think the person that I spoke with initially, the one that pretty much discovered to me that this drama actually happened, wasn't an actual R4. So I did, and I got several new information that I think, I don't know if, like, so there's one critical part, okay, which was my main complaint regarding TK behavior, okay? My main complaint about TK behavior was kicking those people from the R4 positions before, or like, just removing them in final zone, okay? Because for me, doing that just led to the other side getting pissed off and then, you know, ending up in a civil war. Okay, that was my initial opinion, because it was like, okay, the other guys are doing like wrong stuff by literally just trying to fight your own kingdom and trying to steal the home dragon from your kingdom, while they are now struggling on KVK fighting to secure the dragon. So I think that's a bad move. You should wait until the end of the season and then you fight for your own home kingdom, or you just leave, okay? But now I receive information which might indicate that they were not kicked, but they left on their own after a discussion. Now, I'm still to ask the AFK guys if that's true, okay? I need to verify that, but I'm gonna show the information that I got. Towards the end, I will ask the other side, I will show their answers, and I'm gonna make my conclusions. And this is gonna be the last video, by the way. Like, I don't want to be embroiled in drama that is not even about, like, I know I kind of jumped into it, but I didn't thought it will go that far, okay? So I'm gonna show some of the information that I have currently. Okay, so this is the first part, okay? This person PM me, hi there, I'm not sure which account to message you on. The amount of false information in your video is extraordinary. I don't take this like as a bad thing, because he might be right though. Like, again, like, I think it's fair to say that maybe I did a poor job at like trying to figure out the TK side, but because they were the ones that bring this to light, at least from my POV, and I asked one guy and he pretty much just gave me a resume. I thought that was pretty much it, okay? Like, I didn't thought it went like that deep. But yeah, pretty much, here's the first thing that kinda like jumped to me. I resigned from my position and no longer have anything to do with TK, so I will be leaving this server. Best of luck of you all. Now the issue is I cannot see the date, which is kinda important to see, and I'm gonna ask him when was this set, okay? But the thing is, this is not the only mention of him regarding quitting the leadership position, okay? So he posted in multiple forums multiple times to say he was kicked out is purely wrong. We still need to see if that's 100% true. Like, for sure, I believe he might have said that he's done. For me, the issue is where in the timeline he said that. If he said that prior to being kicked, then I think TK didn't really do anything wrong. You have someone who says he's done. It's a bit of a threat to your alliance, so I'm gonna be honest. Like, I will remove him too, you know? Like, if it's a person that's like angry at me, I cannot trust him with, you know, like a leadership position. So we keep going. It's the same situation with Tires. He was demoted to R3 so that we could have all 10 R4 positions for people that were active online. And me, I came online Saturday morning to see that I got removed as R4, so I went with the flow and left all chats. Again, I don't know, like, I already can tell in this kingdom there was bad blood, because it makes no sense. Like, if you got removed, like, you don't leave all chats unless you're already like done with the, like, trying to communicate with your remaining leadership and you're like fed up with them and you're like, okay, fuck them, you know, like, I'm done. Now at the same time, this doesn't really justify this, because I don't like here you don't see him saying like anything that he was AFK or anything. He actually says that he came online Saturday morning to see that he got removed. So maybe he actually got removed during his downtime, but then again the question is, was he given the R4 back or not? Like, I don't know, by his words he decided to remove himself. Still need to see like further proof from this, because from his POV, from Thyre's POV, they actually got removed, so he was like, I'm pretty much done. And he said that during TK, like the current leadership downtime, they will not switch to make them Air Force, okay? That I'm still to see definitive proof whether one is right or the other one. I haven't, like, again, the other guy told me that one thing, he's telling me another thing. This screenshot, although it proves that he was removed, and maybe it was during his downtime, as he says that he came online Saturday morning to see that he got removed, so I assume he got removed when he wasn't online. It's not like fully definitive. So here I ask him a few questions. So this is not true. Main problem, this is what I showed in the other video. Main problem was that we told them so many times during wartime we need Air Force online. So again, maybe both are right, and it's just a big miscommunication, because maybe Thyres is right that they got kicked from R4 and they were not given back the R4, and at the same time maybe it is true that he got removed during downtime and then he literally left thinking that they were doing him wrong, and he then just decided to not help anymore. Like, that's what's starting to look like to me, you know, like both are actually right in their own sense. It's just a big miscommunication from both sides that ended up really bad. Okay, first here I ask him this. By the way, why you accepted to merge with a person that seems to have been known as a kingdom killer? This question got dodged and not one time, which for me it tells me whether this individual person had no real saying on why they merge, or they are really not want to acknowledge that maybe they merged so they could have more players, even though there was risk. I think you could answer like that. I think it's fine. Look, like, not all merges are done with like perfect people. Sometimes you take risk and you try to manage like a more volatile person, let's say, but dodging the question for me spooks me a bit and triggers like an alarm of like he's trying to dodge this because he's not interested from his side's POV to answer this. Okay, so he says, what war? The war has only been the last few days, up until past 4. We had no more than 3 hours of fighting against Born. The first half of the season was dead quiet. So my understanding is that the issue between like them not getting placed as Air Force and them being kicked was during Born past 4. That's at least my understanding currently. So that's still to be defined by the other side. I want to make sure exactly when they say. If it was indeed 3 hours, like, I don't know, like, I'm not really sure. Like, if it was 3 hours, can you really be like inactive? And like, it's too much movement for a window of like only 3 hours. So I asked him, was Shan message after he was removed from our position, or he left and then he sent that message? I think that's kind of important to know, because again, the timeline is important to figure out exactly how this thing went down. He says, Astra was never removed from an Air Force position until a day or two after he quit. A day or two of telling people in Alliance chat that he didn't want to lead anymore, didn't want to be involved at all. Again, if this is actually true, then I have no problem on TK removing people that already are making loud and clear that they are not interested anymore in a leadership role. And like having those people meet KVK on a leadership role is like, it's kind of like a threat, okay? Because maybe they don't do anything wrong and that's fine, and then at the end of the season they decide to leave, but in your side they could delete towers, they could mess up with your alliance, and you're on final zone. So the issue is, like, I'm missing like foolproof evidence that this is actually right. That's the main issue for me, okay? Okay, so I got another important part described to me by the current R5 of TK. There's a lot of text, so I'm gonna go quickly through some parts that we already kind of know, okay? Again, my main point is knowing if they left or if they were kicked. I do believe they left on their own. Now I think the main issue though is that they left in like a tantrum, or like they got angry and said like F this, but they really didn't mean it. Then TK said okay, they're gone, problem solved. And then when the AFK group like saw that like they were not letting them back, then everything just went down. At least that's what I believe to be most likely the middle ground. So this part is about the R5 management. Okay, so first, so here he's explaining why the planning. So if we remember, Astra said that he made a plan and everything, and that they literally kind of didn't follow the plan, and that everything was lost in the span of like 1 hour for all the work they did for 6 hours. Now, the explanation here is that the plan really didn't work out because of the bastion placement of the enemy of Born in this case. So there was no space left to put any flags with these bastions, at least with the initial plan. Here he says Astra just pretty much came in and started like pretty much just calling names and stuff like that to 50 peoples without any solution. And he pretty much ended up leaving, and then he took the lead. They managed to find a way. So that leads me to believe that maybe, you know, like there was a way. Now the question is, was it the way that Astra described, and maybe they didn't see it clear, or maybe it didn't work because you needed to move the flags a bit to somewhere else. I'm not really sure on this one. At least it seems that Astra indeed was busy. He saw that the things were not working. He pretty much just left, and then it was left on Jean to figure out how to push that bridge. Now I gotta say, Astra seems to be losing his nerves a bit and like crashing out on, for example, the line chat, saying that they're pretty much useless and cannot figure out how to push pass. And in theory, after this is when he said that he was stepping out. We already saw this screenshot. So I think here is the main problem. I do believe they left. So at this point, I do not believe TK kicked them. I think though the main issue is they didn't really leave for like forever for good. They were just like, I'm done. Like there's like this is not working. And TK just took the opportunity to be like, okay, if they are gone, then we do it our way, we manage the kingdom. And I think that's pretty much what happened. And when Astra or any of his Air Force tried to come back and try to do the leadership stuff, I guess everyone was like, no, you already said you were gone, you already said you were left, we cannot handle you anymore. And probably that's what happened, because again, like Astra being toxic, etc. Like I guess there was just bad mood, and them just leaving was the opportunity for TK to take control. So here again, I asked the same question. I gotta ask, if he was known as a kingdom killer, why accept the merge with him? Were the expectations different or what? Now, we finally got an answer, and I explained my opinion. To be honest, I just feel it got to a point of miscommunication, because I think truly there was a lot of miscommunication between the different leadership of the merges. I'm thinking that the other side was sabotaging or trying to undermine the other's role, that ended up exploding into a mini civil war. I think that's truly what happened, to be honest. I do believe Astra felt that the other ones were not following his advice, or were really not like trying to help or coordinate with him and his plans. He got fed up and he said, F this, if they're gonna ignore me, if the merge is kinda broken, then I'm going rogue, which is kinda what he did with the civil war. I don't think really, at least initially, TK seems to be going like, let's just completely ignore it. I guess maybe they didn't really figure out how the planning that Astra gave worked, or maybe indeed the plan didn't work itself. And again, it's just so much miscommunication, seems to me. So regarding the merge, well, I was on vacation when people who accepted this merge did, and when I got informed about it, I was against it, but it was too late. Okay, fair enough. So with our final zone open, we did, and leadership to do a plan for final zone, where plan plus build plan only IPO. This is how Astra references to them. So in theory, what he says here is that Astra, or like the Astra leadership part, didn't really plan anything for final zone, so the IPO side did it. And here comes the R5 problem. So they work in a R5 rotation system based on rewards. Like certain weeks, some people will get the R4 rewards, etc. So in theory, here's one of the problems, which is he was supposed to hold R5 for the king rewards. At the same time, I assume they were fighting, so the R5 was needed. So you had the situation where someone is probably going offline, but still need to hold the R5 for the kingdom rewards. Again, I guess here is some trust issues, because let's be honest, if you don't actually claim the king rewards, they are not auto-claimed. So I guess he probably didn't trust the other one on not claiming the rewards, and then the other one thought that he was just simply not wanting to give the R5 away, and you have again another situation of massive miscommunication and a bit of a shit show, to be honest. At this moment where they started seeing that I wasn't rotating the R5 during wartime while the goddamn pass to final zone was close. Next night during final zone, the R5 rotated probably like 4 different people. Okay, this is how they're doing KVK. Less than 48 hours after final zone open, Astra became mad that we won without him. I do believe in part this, because Astra seems to be a person that really like wants to get involved and wants to be like the leader of what's being done. So I guess that it actually succeed without him directing it, maybe, or something like that. Maybe he felt that he was being undermined and actually pissed him off, which I do believe it could be. So at this point he started to took all the migrants that he migrated here, who, I'm not gonna say that, and started burning our flags towards Dragon in Home Kingdom after stealing our Shell alliance. This is still happening, I'll showcase it in a bit. Yeah, they're fighting in the 2 fronts. And I personally tried to find solutions for this, but Astra is the type of guy who doesn't want solution. He wants to see himself better than anyone. I mean, I do believe that I don't think Astra is looking for any solution. I think Astra is done with the kingdom at this point. Like, most likely he will migrate somewhere else. I think at this point he's just like, I'm gonna inflict maximum pain before I leave. Because, I mean, at least number-wise, it seems Astra has like a good chunk of T5 players, but they are few, versus wall of TK, which is around 200 people. So, again, I don't think it's likely that Astra is gonna get control of 629. So I guess at this point is just try to inflict maximum damage, see if like the current leadership of IPO, with whom he had the issues, loses the KVK. Pretty much, I think. So send me some chords. If we check some of these chords, you will see that there's some disconnected territory, like here. So they're trying to remove some of these behemoths. I mean, who holds these? TK, okay, so as you can see, they're trying to disconnect some of the behemoths. So for example, TK will lose some extra stats, Legion's march speed, alliance member limits, and, oh, well, I mean, their speed doesn't really matter for PvP. But I think this should give some stats, yeah. 3% Legion attack, for example. So they're trying to hurt the current IPO leadership. And like the issue is, I'm sure they're targeting the IPO leadership, but the issue is this is currently hurting the 200 people that are fighting the KVK, which is the main reason why I said, although you might feel like they did wrong to you or anything, you should not do this while the final zone is still going on. You should go, take the rewards. Then if you want, you do the civil war, see who wants the control of 629, and if not, you just migrate out. But at this point, it's like no one's winning. Like this, I mean, no one's winning. TK still seems to manage to win the KVK, so they're gonna like technically win, but you get what I mean. Like it's a no win-win situation. Like everyone's losing at this point. Like AFK group is not getting the season rewards, they're not getting any KVK rewards, while the other guys are now having to do like almost double shift to try to like control the home kingdom plus the KVK map. It's an ugly situation overall, not gonna lie. Okay, what else? So here I say, I mean, I do believe they shouldn't have done that right now, as I just explained. They have to be fighting all the time. I tell him, I do believe he's in full Scorched Earth mode, so he's pretty much just going to burn everything. And I mean, he actually like acknowledged that he doesn't care, and that he acknowledges that, like, you know, like he's going for that. So here I repeat, my main debate was mainly whether they were kicked or they left. Here he insists that they left. They left here. So here I explain a bit what I see, which is, yeah, if that's true, that changes a bit my perspective, because it's not the same to be kicked than you leaving and then not being accepted back. But let's be honest, when they left, it's not like anyone went behind to try to bring them back, no? Like, again, I do believe, like, probably this was taken as an opportunity of, look, we got rid of the problem, while the other guys were like, okay, we got hungry, we left, but, like, we still have a KVK going on, let's try to get back and finish off, and then they just collided. They got mad, they say they were living as a temporal tantrum, yet your side, I guess, saw the opportunity to get rid of them due to the issues everyone was having. Which I think, like, I don't know, here, I mean, impossible to bring back Astra, to be honest. I think he's just doing this for fun. I do believe he's done, so yeah, you're probably not bringing him back. Like, he's like, I'm done with 629. Like, this is his actual KVK right now, fighting 629. But they tried to talk some of its members and reasoned them to avoid all of us wasting our time and also them missing end-of-season rewards just to follow a crazy guy. You know, that's nice, to be honest, because at least this will fix the main issues, which is you stop bothering us with Home Kingdom, and you get the end-of-season rewards, which at the end is probably the best outcome for everyone. You stop messing us with us, you get the rewards, and meanwhile you know, like, you get the reward. So a W for Jean to offer this, I don't think it really worked. They stole our shell and started burning our flesh towards dragon instantly, because here I said this, but in theory they started doing this instantly. It wasn't for a temporal thing, and I do believe it was actually prepared because the previous days they forced a lot to get the air fight from the main alliance. Now, I have no opinion on this is pure speculation and perceptions of the individual person. Cool, they have been asking for the air 5, so they could take control of it and like try to do like a coup. Sure, they could, but maybe they didn't want to do it for those reasons, and because they were fighting. I can verify that, I have no opinion on this. Okay, so here's the part of the other side. I got access to their Discord, but honestly, I do not feel like showcasing the Discord itself. I think that's meant to be private. There's something that might have been said, thinking that nothing of like there will see the light, and I think what Seaheim, which is Astra, provided me, it's already enough from his side. I don't need to really go deeper into the Discord. But yeah, here he talks to me, and yeah, don't worry, I spoke with his buddy. Here's a bit of general talk. I make him some questions. I ask him about this screenshot that I was sent by TK. Pretty much, I sent him a screenshot of exactly what they told me that happened on the past 4, because again, I'm writing what I heard, but maybe I missed some stuff which is important, so I rather send the screenshot. And I mean, everyone knows that this will be showcased, because like everyone, like pretty much both sides asked me to make another video, to remake the first video talking about this, so there should be no problem. But yeah, pretty much a bit of talk, and here I told him, can you explain me, as you said, what happened mainly from past 4 to when you decided to start the Civil War? I will bring this to light because I think it's fair. Okay, the first part of this video was the TK side, and now I'm bringing his side. Again, the opinion, I'm gonna let you figure it out. I'm gonna give mine, but yeah. So, I will give you the facts straight up, but as you do with the facts given to you by TK, it's natural that you have to take it with a grain of salt. Also, it's not fully accurate information, as I don't have a perfect working memory. Which already, I already know this, that's why, like, no matter what everyone says, I will not believe it 100%, because everyone has interest on, like, making his side look good. But at least here, he acknowledges that, look, what I'm gonna say is what I believe was right, but it's not, like, it probably is not fully 100% accurate. Now, this is something important because this will appear several more times. The biggest problem for me has always been the fact that new gen players, which is like all new players, new to COD Rock Spectrum, have never understood what a real competitive alliance looks like. So when they saw me kicking players out of a repetitive or stupid mistakes, nobody liked that. Especially when I always stated that the intense competitiveness my team strives for. So here's one of the main differentiations, which current TK leadership, I'm not calling them casuals, but they are not as tryhard as this guy, okay? Like, this guy is like a real tryhard. He's trying to maximize the output of all the players, and he's expecting from his players maximum dedication, like borderline giving their life to the game. Which again, like, there's some alliances which are like that, usually like top alliances, and there's others that are more casual, not meaning like they're dead weight, but that will not go this far, okay? So that's already one issue, because you have two sides of the leadership. One is like trying to push like competitiveness, but not to such a high standard, and then you have this guy who's like, I want the maximum, you know? So then again, when when the others are making decisions, will not be as min-max or as like optimal as maybe Astra is pushing for, which again, like when you're a player and you've been told do this, and then he goes to sleep and another leadership player comes in and tells you to do the same maybe, but like in a different way, it gets a bit confusing. And then the leadership is like, if I say to do this, why do you do it this way when I said to do this? And it's mainly the main problem that 629 had. But people always want a competitive environment that's relaxed, which simply does not mix. I mean, I think it's fair to some extent. Like, you can have competitive kingdoms that do not min-max everything, but it is true that, like, the term competitiveness means giving it all to win. So he keeps explaining this part. It is clear to me now that power force I brought in never understood that and only looked to obtain the benefits of a competitive alliance without doing what is necessary to become one. Like, he realizes that now, which is the main, like, this already tells you that the merge was a bad idea in that sense, because there was two different mentalities trying to mix together, which is like a really red flag. I'm like, obtain the benefits of a competitive alliance. I mean, I don't know. I think they are doing their part. Maybe they are not doing it like as efficient or as try hard as Astra would expect, but they're still doing their part. I will move on to the facts now, and there's a shit ton of text, okay? So here he gives me a bit of background information, which is 629, the kingdoms that it is made of. For season 3, he merged 625 with 634 to become T1. For fifth season of Strife, he merged XX, who was never meant to be leadership, and EPO into 629, which the later is the one that he had the problems with. Besides the initial argument around season preparation from the images I showed you with Shan, everything went perfectly on the topic. He thought Shan and him went on good terms after this small discussion, which we have here, which is pretty much Astra. I mean, if we're not willing to trust each other completely from the get-go, we'll say outright that this merge will not work, and I'm a crazy bastard. Like, he acknowledges his character, he acknowledges his personality. Like, look, if you're an old player, this is literally Jason G 2.0, pretty much. You can think about him like that, okay? Tolkien, I'd rather do us versus everyone than ally with people who don't want you in Diplochats destroy servers early. Tolkien intentionally betraying allies for a cool season is what destroys servers early. It makes it hard to have trust in you, not gonna lie. And here things get more spicy, and here is just full him explaining his past, which we'll see later on down here. So yeah, besides the initial agreement around season preparation from the images I showed with Sean, they were hitting peaks of 150 players, which is really good, and they had the biggest amount of T5s from their KBK. He was not online for majority of the fighting in Zone 2, which is one of the accusations for him being that weight, that he didn't really show in Zone 2, due to my classes during the weekday, which is important to mention. The that weight part. However, he played for 30 minutes to 1 hour intervals and spent 30 to 60 minutes helping set up for the past openings the same morning it was opening. Okay. Now here we have one of the first conflict points. This went on until 19 UTC, where I was online full and helped finish them off, but the majority of the fighting was over already. I wanted to continue fighting and play proactively, but Power Force shut me out on this one that day too. This was long ago and it was mostly cloudy for me, but that's why I remember 100%. But you can ask me questions that help me recall. Now, like the details, we don't know. Like the overall picture is, he was trying to push further into Born territory, and the idea was discarded by the power part of the leadership. Again, we don't know here if that was a reasonable request to dismiss his plans because maybe they were too risky, or maybe there were not enough online players, or maybe he was actually in the right. Okay, that part we don't really know. So then he was I was online from 11 to, I mean, pretty much 2 hours. No, wait, is this all the day? Yeah, pretty much all day. Where I let every battle in voice chat with our players. The pass opened at 12 UTC. I'm a calm and controlled person. Now, maybe you are until you pop off, which then everything turns different, but from what I heard and what you told me, this doesn't really correlate. But I always use a commanding voice when I'm war leading. This leads for yelling and screaming that players except my own aren't used to yet. This is not an issue, like he was regarded as toxic, like really hard per se. So I guess, like, again, it's just on you 2.0, okay? If you don't know, or if you cannot handle like getting screamed at or anything like that, of course you will, like, there will be problems, and not every single player is made to be under like someone who leads like him. Him kicking players and trying to ensure that the eye power 4 didn't let them back in was a major tension as well. Again, we're talking again about that miscommunication, different playstyles, which is one is more competitive to the point of, look, you fucked up, you're not coming back into Alliance maybe until 24 hours, while eye power 4s are more like, okay, look, like it's fine, he fucked up, but he acknowledges, let him back in, and that difference opinion started to create a gap between the leadership itself. My players will be non-stop hitting darlings, hitting rallies, blinking their infantry into nowhere, then rushing them randomly, charging cap into infantry walls, etc. Okay, like, yes, these are rookie mistakes. Again, for me, it's about balance. If you see someone who's doing this non-stop, and you tell him and he keeps doing it, I think kicking him is fair, but I don't think he needs to be kicked 24 hours. You kick him for like 1 hour, or even just the fact that you kick him, it like makes him realize that, okay, I actually need to stop, okay? So I think, again, it's about balance. Probably he was too hard and the eye power force were too docile per se. But here we can see already another point of contention between the leadership. I mean, list is endless of mistakes. Many times I mentioned to everyone to stop playing stupid, don't be idiots. These are the main words that was said that he was saying. And I don't think this is criminal, in my own opinion, which is different from other people, which might consider these words too much. I personally don't. I've been playing games for too long, and probably this is some of the nicest words you can hear around. This is another thing. I don't think this is critical. The action itself, it was the consequences of it. So at some point they do an archer rally into their DPS, okay? And Shan was actively degrading him in the lane's chat. I think he called him idiot for doing this. Again, for me it depends. Archers, I'm not gonna lie, are one of the most useless troop types in the game currently. If you can get good counterattack from like a Hoskin arena rally or something like that, and you're trading positive, I'm good with it, to be honest. But like, I get that some people might disagree with that. The main thing is, I think Shan here made a mistake, and I said that in the first video. You should not go on the Alliance chat itself and like say what she said about him. Just go to the Alliance like leader chat and just stop this shit, it's not working, or it doesn't work because X and Y, okay? I think this is a mistake, a small mistake. I don't consider this thing criminal, okay? Like, everyone gets heated and, you know, speaks on, like, for me this is nothing like insane, but I do believe it's a mistake on Shan's part. I don't find him wrong. The idea was stupid, but I knew what I was doing and I knew who I was playing against. Okay, so that's kind of the traits. He went offline around 22 to 23 UTC, maybe a bit early to take a break. Again, immense idiocy. So you're telling me you're a calm and controlled person, but like, I can tell you're losing your nerves, but the things that you're seeing went on while I was trying to wall it. I made sure to tell them to push for the north and south towers connecting the pass, however they never did so. I think this is the point of contention that I mentioned a few minutes ago, where he gave them a plan on how to push. In theory, they tried to recreate that plan, it just did not work, okay? So from his POV, they never did so. From their POV, they actually tried, it didn't work. And again, when you don't have trust in your other part of the leadership. He's gonna believe that they didn't really try, because maybe if it was a success, it will like bring his like strategy to another level and players will be locking up on him, while the others maybe are just like, this doesn't work, or they simply didn't knew how to exactly recreate the plan that he was doing, which is another possibility. Like, again, this normally will not be a big deal. Like, it's a big deal that you lost that time that you could have pushed, but again, between leadership that likes each other, is like, okay, look, it is whatever, I'm back here, let's do it now, okay? Because we've done this on our alliance. Upon my return, I found out that they had not been pushing and stopped doing so completely because they thought the defense was impenetrable. Again, it's the same thing. From their POV, there was no way to do the push because they could not place a flag due to the bastions, and the only places that the road was too long. And they didn't know what to do. Regardless, I wanted them to keep pushing Burn because I was almost certain that there was more to be done. We were so overwhelmingly powerful on top of Burn's bad leadership that we were winning every trade. So again, I agree with him. The only issue is they could not do it. Like, again, probably he believes they do it with ill intent. I'm gonna believe that they just didn't manage to do it. I mean, I think it's fine, okay? Like, at the end, you're still winning, okay? See, and this is the super tryhard mentality that comes into play, which is not just winning, it's like destroying the enemy, which I think is something that he should, like, try to tone down, because although it's gonna help you win, again, when the issue is when you push it too far, it ends up in an implosion like it happened here. I'm not fully certain on the chronological order of events in this section, but the facts state there as I view them to occur. Again, it's his POV, doesn't mean everything is gonna go right, okay? But I'm mainly here to just showcase his point of view. At this exact moment as well, we were trying to come up with solutions and proposing them in chat. I'm getting ignored and nobody is speaking with me. Again, that's probably due to the bad relationship that already existed, and TK is just going on their own and doing their plans while he was doing his plans, and then you have a split leadership, and that's the worst that can happen on Alliance, okay? He's starting to get pissed off because he's getting ignored. I mean, I get it, okay? I think ignoring chat, Born is rebuilding everything, and I trusted that they knew what to do with LTK or what not, because they had told me that they were moving to LTK to push Born in that zone. LTK is a second shell, good strategy. Not many early kingdoms do doubles or triple shells, as in Sovereign we do, because we have like a crazy guy that does them, but it's a really good thing and most of the old kingdoms do it. At some random point in time, I'm not sure if it was after I returned or after I had gone offline for the night. So yeah, they were not pushing, Born was rebuilding, and then wanted everyone to move to LTK now. I wasn't sure about this move, but I bluntly flowed them into doing so. Okay, that's nice from him, because although you might have your doubts, you're not criticizing the move directly from the rest of the leadership. I'm just going with it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I was extremely pissed off of following the fact that I was being ignored. Born was progressing, we were doing nothing, and our players were confused. People were asking me questions on the plans, etc. Made markers to move to LTK to assist with the move, and nobody went. Not even the iPower force that told me we were moving to LTK now. I waited and waited, still nothing. Now I'm seriously pissed off. I begin kicking players from TK and telling them to move to LTK, where they demoted me from R4 to R1 or something, and I just locked off or something. Not 100% sure what is after here. As I said, the facts are mostly sound, but the chronological order is off. So we're on the same page. Like, the trust between the leadership is broken. Everyone is doing a bit what they want. Clearly, Power Force don't feel like keep pushing Born on that zone because they feel like it's either not worth it or anything. I do believe if indeed they did ignore him, I think that's a huge mistake, and they should have addressed him. Even if the answer is no, we're not gonna follow with this plan, then if he wants to try to rally the members and do his plan, is like whatever, but just give him an answer. I think that should be fair for everyone. So I think he should have received an answer. But yeah, I mean, the kicking players to move to another shell, like the issue is, I don't have a correct answer for this. So in one part, if people are not doing what an officer is saying, kicking them to go to the another shell is fine. But again, clearly here there's a fragmentation on the leadership. So probably, like by kicking them, you're making the gap wider on the bridge, because I personally don't think I will have kick the players. I think I will just have stay there and be like, okay, they don't want to fucking do this, let's not do this, let's see what happens. And at the end, if everything goes to shit, it's gonna be their fault, not mine. So it is what it is, you know. But again, different mentalities from different persons. So after those events, I said that I was done and that I was going to step down from leadership and let them deal with all in their own. Now, I do believe in this case, probably, like here he mentions where he got demoted from R4 to R1. Like he probably, from the screenshots and everything I saw, he probably was done. He said that he was done from leadership. Then he got instantly demoted because, let's be honest, TK at this point probably was fed up with him. And was like, okay, this is our opportunity, without like breaking the agreement of the merge or anything. He said he was stepping down, this is the time, and they used that opportunity to drop him. It's not something bad from TK's side. Like again, he actually said to step down, so they just did what he asked for, okay? And then let them deal with all on their own. Ironically, I remember even less the events that occur are still enough close to the present day, as there is nothing particularly interesting for me to note, except the fact that I'm persistently trying to tell iPower Force to set up their game, improve their leadership after a step down. So at this point, he pretty much, I think this is I think he started the final zone as an R3 or something like that, not as leadership. So this is right as before final zone. He's already done. He dropped from leadership. Like he's part of the team, dropped from leadership, and probably at this point he's already considering his options of like, okay, maybe I do the civil war, maybe I try to, like to make peace. His different options at this point. People were messaging about mismanagement. I mean, this is just personal info. I cannot say really here. R5's not being exchanged while offline. I mean, we have reports of this, but then we have like this might, like, I'm pretty sure this happened, but the main reason it happened, it was because the reward claim system and everything like that, not because ill intent. So I bring this up into leader chat, but I'm only ridiculed by it. Parrot Kitty was the only one who attempted to make things right to Mio, and honestly, I bring zero blame about any of this to him, just to me and the others. At some point in the afternoon, I'm trying to tell Jean and the others to just let me finish off Born TPF because we were playing horribly and drop a tower next to Born TPF cities that got destroyed. All I did was get mocked, called a clown, accused of being egotistical before the final prog me into leaving fully and starting a civil war in Home Kingdom. Now, if this part is true, which I don't know, I think they should have not said this, because the main reason you're treating with a person that's volatile, that has a following of players, you're on final zone, you don't want to risk it, but the best you can do is to say, we got this, let us do our job, and try to get rid of him without like using any of these words that literally could lead to a civil war, because again, if that player is already like at the verge of doing the civil war, just ended up pushing him to it. My only thoughts in that specific moment were, fuck it, I'm a dick for it, I don't regret it, I know the innocent people involved, and I accept all the consequences for it. So at least he honors that, that's respectful in a sense. So he knows he's screwing up over some players, which like it's really fucking bad, but at least he's not trying to hide it or trying to be a snake about it or trying to say, no, I did not this. Like he did it, he acknowledged he's being a dick about it, it is what it is. He sends me here a picture of the defense that they set up. So what I've been told, same screenshot was sent by TK, is the plan was to burn top and bottom, as Astra said. The issue is the bastions did not allow for any flag placement, and the only flag placement that they could really do was outside of road range. That's what they told me. I don't know if it's true or not. Okay. I tell him thanks for the detailed info, including the second part. One last question. I see your team is pushing in Home Kingdom. Is there any chance for you to get the KVK rewards in exchange for leaving Home Kingdom as it is, or you still want to pursue the control of 629 now? I'm trying to push this to see if I can bring some peace to 629, okay? I think this is the best deal for both parts, to be honest. You get the rewards, look, your part in the kingdom is over, or if you want to try to pursue the capture of the dragon, you can do it, but at least do it after the dragon, mainly for the innocent people, the regular members, who just caught up in all of this. I don't care about KVK rewards, I never have. This guy's been trying to reconcile with us every day because how annoying we are in Home Kingdom, but still no respect for me. I don't know why they didn't message me sooner, as they don't have a real answer for me neither about that. I think this is true. I got messages from TK's side that they were trying to make some sort of deal with them. Mainly what I said here. What I push is what they told me that they were trying to push, which is the KVK rewards in exchange for leaving Home Kingdom alone. I tried to push it too to see if it worked. It didn't, clearly. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point he should actually be considering this and be like, it's not even for him or for TK, it's for the health of the game. You don't want people leaving, you don't want people really having like such bad experiences. So I think at this point he should probably just be like, okay, look, give me the rewards, I'm gonna be on my shell, or I'm even gonna be in TK Alliance, like as a R1. The moment I can migrate, I'm dipping out, and good luck to everyone. And he will probably try to destroy them in the future, which I think is for a really cool arc. I know that you dislike IPO leadership, but then you think it's better to move on and maybe migrate to a kingdom that might face them and take revenge that way. We're stuck here because of migration cooldown. I don't hold anything against IPO, but if you think I'm going to join them and let them war lead me, you're crazy. At least the Civil War is entertaining, which I think it's the main reason. He's having fun with these fights, so yeah, that's one of the reasons he's probably pushing this. He says he doesn't have anything against IPO. I don't know if he means the regular members, but I know he has something against the leadership, clearly. The war lead part, here I didn't understand it really. Now here it gets more clear. Nah, not war lead, just be there until you can go to another kingdom. I assume that's the plan. I mean, can't be that long before migration cooldown, no? He tells me 30 fucking days. Which at this point I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be horrible, you know? Because, like, the thing is, at some point, TK will be done with the KVK, and then they're going to Home Kingdom, and now you have all these people in Home Kingdom disconnecting your behemoths. Now you're gonna have to fight them, and it's gonna be for a whole month, which probably starts with the next KVK. It's just like an absolute headache. I don't even want to see them in the same alliance chat as me right now. I'm fine talking to them, but I don't want to be part of anything they are part of. Okay, I tell him that's gonna be bad, and he says, I'm exhausted with these people, trust me when I say I want nothing more than to leave and never see their faces again, but unfortunately situation very complicated for us with the conviction that we hold. This is AFK part. I think this is way more clear than what I uploaded the first video. Now I'm gonna give my conclusions and my opinion. I think the first mistake was this merge. I think this merge was not like two mindsets too different. One really try hard, the other one competitive, but maybe not as try hard, which led to this situation mainly. Second, the trust on Air Force was broken really soon, and like I'm gonna be honest, I don't think neither side was really helping to like hold the solution together. Like TK now is making efforts to try to solve things, but I think at the moment, like again, I don't know if they call him clown, but I'm pretty sure like some words that might have pissed him off were used, okay, because everyone does that. So I think those things should be avoided, especially if you think that's a risk of this guy starting a civil war. Like even if you think them, just keep it for yourself, to be honest, and just say them when the KVK is over. Now, from his side, I think he should be done with the Home Kingdom thing. It's only causing pain, to be honest. He's not gonna gain anything from this apart from PvP fun, I guess. I think there's some things here that he got like wrongdoing, which were mainly that like ignoring him. I don't think he should have been ignored. But again, you have a player, like the issue is the mentality of the players. You have a player who's super try hard, who's trying to like push the alliance to the limit, and then you have players who are way more like chill, and it just collided. Like you have him kicking people for like, again, playing stupid, you know, like I personally think that maybe it's a bit too far, but again, that's something you should know when you merge with someone, okay? Like, that is my opinion. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Really long video. Again, I'm not making a third video about this. I'm actually tired. I had to read a shit ton of text, so I'm actually done with this. And I hope for the success of 629 that they stay healthy. And I hope for Astra that he finds another kingdom where his mentality and being such a tryhard actually fits in. So yeah, catch you in the next one.